On Saturday, September 13, 2008, the Niles area received 9.5 inches of rainfall in approximately 12 hours. This has been referred to as 100-year or 150-year rain to differentiate from previous rain. Flooding occurred in many areas of Niles and surrounding communities. Basements and streets were flooded. Dempster Street at Greenwood was closed to traffic. Parts of Gulf Road were closed. Milwaukee Avenue in certain sections was down to 1 lane. Howard Street was closed, which is the first time in our history, and water ran through the street. Hart's Road was closed and was underwater. That day, we called in all available personnel from fire, police, and public works, and they came in for extra duty. Each department did a great job for the citizens of Niles. For all of the extra services and what the village paid for was a cost of approximately $250,000. And many citizens, including you, also had loss of time and money. But these are the facts.
It's really important that you call FEMA.
We can loan up to $200,000 at a low interest rate for that damage. If you have personal property damage, you can get both renter and homeowner up to $40,000 in damage.
All people will agree with me, or maybe we can have another meeting, I don't know, 1, 2 months, 3 months from now, just to see how that meeting reflect on the people living out here. You know, every one of us will get any help or not. Thank you.
Okay, when you register, within 5 to 10 days, although I think everybody who's had an inspection can say it's been faster, you will receive a phone call from an inspector, and he will make an appointment. They don't just show up. And again, then from 7 to 10 days from that, you should be receiving a letter. And if you're awarded money, whether you had electronic fund transfer or a check, electronic fund transfer is 24 to 48 hours. A check can take another 7 to 10 days. It has not been taking that long, and I think anyone who's registered can verify that. It has been going fairly quickly. If you need to know the status again at the end, I can take names and numbers, and we can have someone call you.
Through FEMA records, we were able to identify those people that would qualify for these funds. And as it shaked out, 9 final people qualified. That number could go down. It won't go up. We did contact each one of those individuals via mail, and this money will actually help those people who are low income, still have over $10,000 in damage in their homes since the 2008 declared flood. And this funding here requires us to have certain items in place for CDBG funding, and that's why you see this here. There was actually several other things that we had to qualify, and it's already in our books.
Steve, why the quick turnaround? Only 5 years.
Call the roll, please.
Anushek?
Yes.
Palicki?
Yes.
Preston?
Aye.
Hines?
Yes.
Shabello?
Yes. It passes. Thank you.
And I'm glad the cameras were put in. I was against the $150,000 expenditure because I thought it was a waste of time. They're proving to be invaluable. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry.
How many years has the strategic plan been in the budget? Is this the 3rd year or the 4th?
Yeah, I have no idea. I know it was in last year, or this current year.
Check if it was last.
as a resident, I kind of look at this budget every year, and every year it seems like we reinvent the wheel. And we have a vision of where we want to be, but I think the strategic plan would get the board and the staff together so you don't have to reinvent this thing every year. There's a heck of a lot of money here. You're talking about an $80 million budget. And, it just seems to me, just as a bystander, that there should be more communication, thinking longer term as opposed to going every year, kind of zero base this thing and starting the conversation over again. As a resident, I see that. There was a fire down the street not long ago, maybe 3 years ago, and there were 7 fire departments from 7 suburbs that showed up. That was pretty impressive. And that's why I really asked the question about consolidation. If we could make it, obviously, maybe it'd be more cost effective, we'd save some money. These budgets are getting bigger.
How old are the 2 fire stations, Chief?
I think the station on Dempster Street, I want to say 1964, and Station 3 would be, I believe, 1969.
My question comes down to is on the cuts. I mean, we recently had in this building and the other buildings, because there was no maintenance done and there was no preventative maintenance. What are we looking at with these fire stations and all these things that are old? And you're saying we need to do a feasibility study. Are we waiting till those things break?
We've got a lot to do in this village.
Staff and the flood control study pinpointed, 600 plus possible homes that can and have flooded. The real problem here is that I've heard from people, and I think many of you all have, is that they say that I've lived in Niles for 20 years and I never had a problem, and now I do. So there's something changing. There's something going on, but I want you all to know that this village, this board, is committed to an infrastructure project, not only this point 1.2, but it's also the Tier 1 flood control program that the Finance Committee has studied, the Stormwater Committee has studied, and we're going to go ahead with this thing, and we're going to make it right.
Steve, my name is Lynn Ball at the Village of Niles, and I'm returning your request for information about the alley behind your house. Nothing can be done as a part of the street reconstruction simply because it's not budgeted as part of it. I wish that it were. I don't have any good solutions. We're trying when people are having trouble getting in and out of their garages and that sort of thing. We're throwing some patch to see what we can do, but actually with the equipment we have here in town, there's not much we can do to improve the alley. The base is shot, obviously, and the pavement shot, and the garbage trucks are tearing everything up. I checked the 2013 survey of the alleys. Yours is listed as one of the worst ones in town, so hopefully the Village Hall and the board will start paving alleys soon, and yours will be near the top of the list. I'm sorry I don't have any better news for you, but if you have any more questions, 847-588-7900, and if you have any specific issues, having trouble getting in and out of your garage or something like that, feel free to get a hold of us and we'll come out and do what we can with that. Thank you. Bye. End of message.
Street resurfacing projects that are provided for in the Motor Fuel Tax Fund for fiscal year 14 include National Avenue, Crane Street, Wright Terrace, Belfort Place, Hamilton Drive, Greenleaf Street, Main Street, Monroe Street, Mulford Street, Merrimack Avenue, and Merrimack Avenue.
Is it not possible that we could be working on the major projects that you addressed in Tier 1 all at the same time? It sounded like you prioritized Cleveland, and I understand that people in that area need to have their needs addressed too. But
We can certainly
on
put
the west side of town, but
we can certainly put the gas on this one. You know, I spend some extra time out there. Let me move on that a little bit faster, Rosemary.
we'd really like to be able to go back to those people and let them know that something definite is going to happen. And I hope the people in the other areas have heard that something definite is going to happen as soon as possible.
I guess I can add a little more information to that. Even if we were proceeding all designs at the exact same rate as you know, if we were doing all three concurrently, we wouldn't be able to construct all those projects at the same time. And that's part of the issue, is that with a 5 or 6 year implementation program, the Cleveland and the Main Street projects are really parallel to each other, and we're going to need those two roads for traffic, you know, and we couldn't. It's physically impossible to construct both those projects at the same time because you'd have blocks in between Main and Cleveland cut off, you know, from any access to their homes.
Street resurfacing projects that are provided for in the Motor Fuel Tax Fund for fiscal year 14 include Main Street, 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 Main Street.
Where'd you find this?
Main Street, Main Street, Main Street.
Major problems of flooding never disappear from that. And I don't know what we're doing.
All this wisdom is dizzy.
It's the way.